auto ducking off. Maybe it's louder.
The following program is rated D for dumb.
9 o'clock, I'm bored to death. Smoke so much I can smell my own breath. My baby left me, my best friend's not at home.
That's so much smoking. Think about it, right? It's a lot of smoking.
Can't get that woman off my mind. I've never been the broody kind, but there's still one thing makes me come alive.
Gotta hear this now, right?
Yeah, I'm going for a drive.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Hello, everybody. Dave Canyon here. Are you ready to dumb it down? Want to deal with pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all? Well, we'll do the best we can. Welcome to the Manchurian Child Part 2. I've never had to do this before, as far as I can remember. I've never really had to just put you in a cliffhanger, very unintentionally, and then do this episode, Part 2. I don't even know if I can do it another 30 minutes. But I spent too much time on the whole Mayor Dunberg thing, but maybe not too much time. There is no time limits on any of this. Doesn't matter. But I do feel strongly about $500 million. I mean, that's a lot of money. Could have made so many people happy. And I just don't understand the mentality of putting all that money into a failed run for the presidency. And to not to prepare for the debate. And where you been, Mike? If you're a billionaire, what have you been selling? What are you selling that you're making that much money? I know what Bill Gates, I know how he made it. I understand. You know, certain guys I understand, but because he started a radio division or a news division, I mean, $500 million, you're just sitting there and it's in the bank. You know it's in the bank. I kind of feel like, yeah, I know, I've been talking about this, right? Is he a hero? Should we respect him? Because, you know, he spent all that money to not get the job, even though he wanted it. Like, maybe he didn't want it. Maybe he truly didn't want it. But, you know, let me ask you something. If you knew you had $500 million in the bank, would you just, $500 million extra, because you're a billionaire. So you have $1 billion. So $1 billion is 100 million or something like that, right? $500 million is, okay, $500 million is 500 million. So that means you would have 1,000 million. Yep. Or maybe you'd have 1,100 million. I don't know. It gets confusing. That's how hard it is to conceptualize $500 million. I got it written down here on paper, and I can't even figure out what the hell I'm talking about. All I have here is 5 and 8 zeros. Yep, 5 and 8 zeros. I think that's $500 million. But if you doubled that, that'd be $1 billion. So yes, that's 500 million. Okay, that's what that is. Yeah, that's 500 million. So you'd have to have 1,000 million. 1,000 million equals $1 billion. So if you have $1 billion, you can give 1,000 people $1 million. Everybody, 1,000 people gets $1 million. You know, you can just keep on doing the math. 2,000 people would get this amount of money. Maybe $500,000. You know, it's just, you're sitting on it. You know people need this money. You could make such a difference in the economy. Now, did you not do that because the mayor, the president was a Republican, and you're so embedded in your power that you... Meanwhile, isn't Bloomberg really a Republican or something? He's not really a Democrat, is he? I mean, I know he says he is, and I think he ran as one, but I don't know. I don't see it all the time. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It bothered me. I had to talk about it. Maybe that's the last time I would talk about it. But I think it would be fascinating if I had a video to accompany this, and we had some pie charts, and I could talk about the things you could buy. I almost want to do a whole series on this, like a whole separate show, not even dumbing it down with Dave. What can you buy with this money? If you're a billionaire, and by the way, how many billionaires are there? Because it can't be just one. So if there's more than one, how is anybody not getting health care? By the way, speaking of that, I'm not watching. My wife was watching. Did I mention this the other day? My wife was watching the cable TV. And, apparently she wasn't watching a housewife show or any of that crap. 500-pound mole, my tumor, all that crap. But, she was watching something with a zoo. I even like that show because it's got animals, and it's always good, animals. But there was a seal. They were feeding a seal. I don't know if it was the Bronx Zoo, but it was one of those zoos. It was an aquarium zoo. I don't even know. And next thing you know, they're talking about this black-tipped reef shark. I'm pretty sure that's what they called it. A black-tipped reef shark. And the lady goes, that thing is more afraid of you than you are of it. If you were ever in the water and that black-tipped reef shark saw you, it would run away. I'm like, okay. So it's a cowardly shark. We get it. I wouldn't know that unless you were swimming with me, lady. But thank you for the information. You think that I could actually pick out a black-tip reef shark in a lineup? If there was a crime, if I went swimming in the ocean and I got bit by a black-tip reef shark, you think when the Coast Guard, says, hey, we have 5 of these sharks lined up, which one? Can you identify the shark that bit you? I'd be like, yeah, all of them. They're all guilty. Black-tip reef shark, whatever. So they talk about they're concerned because the black-tip reef shark hasn't been swimming like it normally does, hasn't been making its moves. They got people that are so educated, they know what a black-tip reef shark swims like in that big fake tank that they have for all the kids to come and pay all that money so they can go see the aquarium. I don't have a problem with aquariums. A lot of people do. Whatever, with the whales, with the tricks and the jumping and the torture. Who knows? I have no idea. I don't have a really full-fledged opinion on all that. I know people say, oh, it's an animal. You can't hold an animal captive. Well, some animals, I don't know. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I guess it is. If it's one animal, it's bad enough. Whatever it does, this show isn't about that. I'm not taking a stance one way or the other on the whole animal thing. I know I'm nice to animals, and that's all that matters to me. So anyway, this lady is talking, like wait a minute. Are we not feeding the seal anymore? We're done with the seal? And she goes, yeah, the black tip reef shark is something's wrong. We're noticing it's not swimming right. So we're gonna take it out of the water, and check, give it a checkup. I'm like, what? Really? And there's like 10 people there. They're all in those hospital blues, but they're in marine hospital. It's the same but different. So they're all staying around this big gigantic tank, like all women too. By the way, I don't know how many men were there. Cameramen probably. It doesn't matter. So some ladies gets this thing and she puts it in the water because the sharks had that sense of smell. It wasn't blood or chum. It was something else. I don't know. Something was in the water, and the thing wasn't coming to get it. I guess whatever. I guess was there a hook in there? I don't think they would put a hook in their own animal, right? I don't know how they got it. Eventually, it didn't bite on the bait, but they did get the black tip reef shark out of the water. They put it in one of those blankets and they weighed it in the scale and all this. Then they started doing examining, and then they gave it what's that thing that knocks you out? They gave it that, not the hygienist, the thing that they knock you out, not cortisone. When you go to the hospital, you put the mask on and they knock you out. Well, they had that for a shark. And there was a little bit of a complication, but they did eventually figure it out. I keep thinking hygienist. Anyway, the shark didn't die, but they did notice that there was a problem with the shark, and I don't know how they were going to fix it. I couldn't stay there anymore because they gave the shark the sleeping gas, whatever they call that stuff. Anesthesia. Oh my God. Yeah, the anesthesia. Okay. You know what messes me up with the word anesthesia? The movie Anastasia. Is it a movie, right? Every time I want to say anesthesia, I feel like I'm going to say Anastasia. So I got to think about it. And the more I think about it, the more it screws me up. And I can't say anesthesia. And, of course, there's an anesthesiologist. So I think they actually had an animal anesthesiologist. And I'm watching this thing. They take the shark out of the water. And, by the way, the shark can't be out of water for too long. The black tip reef shark can't be out of water too long. So they take it out of the water. It's in this blanket thing, whatever, hanging from the scale. And then somebody is at the timer. So, time. So you got to take the shark out of the blanket, put it in the water, let it breathe, even though it has anesthesia. I don't know. And then after they feel like it's been enough of water, they take it out and they put it back in the blanket. So they can only do this so many times before you're going to kill the shark. Whatever. In and out of the water. That's like the opposite of waterboarding. It's something different for sharks. It works. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at this show with my wife, long story longer, as I normally do. I said, do you realize how many people are standing around this tank taking care of this black tip reef shark? And how many people are in the United States of America right now and they can't get a referral? They can't do anything because nobody cares about them. We care about a black tip reef shark and that seal, walking around, how cute they are, They always look incredibly wet, like freshly waxed. They got that sheen. But that's a lot of money there. A lot of technology went, plus an anesthesiologist to check on the condition of a black tip reef shark. I think it was the only one in the tank. I don't think there is another one. It's all by itself. What does it have to live for? Anyway. So that's one of the things I saw the other day, and it stuck with me. So then this lady, Ty, calls my house, and I wasn't going to answer the phone. I didn't know it was her. But eventually, and this is the second time something like this happened. And we start to talk, and she goes, Aspire Health figured out that they're going to save a lot of money if they send a nurse practitioner to certain people's houses because the emergency visits cost way much more, whatever the proper English would be if I wasn't so fatigued. Way much more. And so I talked to this lady for a long time. I mean, I don't know how long, a half hour. I can be pretty verbose. But we were talking about my podcast. We were talking about my father. We were talking about healthcare. Talk about what does this whole thing look like? This free offer out of the blue from Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's hard to believe that they would actually do something like this. But again, the math that they figured out was we're going to save a lot of money in emergency room costs. So after this is all said and done, I said, Ty, I'm going to call my father right now. I'm going to tell him the good news. This is great. So you mean Harold, my dad, does not have to go, does not have to leave the apartment. No, he does not have to leave the apartment. Jeannie, they already knew. They're so together, they already knew who the nurse practitioner was. The only thing that Ty didn't know was that who was going to be the interpreter, because apparently I was the first one to ever mention it. That my father's deaf and you need an interpreter. It's part of the Disabilities Act, not the Freedom Act, the American Civil Disabilities, something like American Civil Disabilities, whatever. It's a part of some act. You got to have an interpreter for the deaf people. You have to. If you don't do it, it's against the law. You break the law. Whatever. And so she's excited about it. I'm excited about it. She goes, this is definitely going to happen. No big deal. Blah, blah, blah. And I said, all right, I'm going to call my father right now. And the visit was going to be in a couple of days, on a Wednesday, whatever. It's going to be 9 o'clock in the morning, unless my father had a problem with it. My father doesn't have to leave his house. He doesn't have to get in the elevator. Listen to this. He doesn't have to leave his house. He doesn't have to get in the elevator. He lives on the 4th floor. He doesn't have to get in his car and drive. Oh, he wouldn't anyway. He doesn't have to take a bus, the Access-a-Ride, or the handicap bus. He doesn't have to make an appointment for the bus to pick him up. Doesn't have to feel like he's rushed because the bus will drop him off and pick him up in a certain amount of time. And if he misses the bus on the way back, he has to find another way to getting home. Mass transit in New York City, no big deal. But anyway, there's a lot of stress involved going to Columbia Presbyterian in Manhattan. It's a whole day. But the son, the good son, the son of all sons, has solved that problem. We're going to send a nurse practitioner. Not to replace your primary care physician, at least not right now. But to supplement, you still get to see your primary care guy. But this company, based on a referral from all loving, all knowing, all empathetic, all feeling, love to give stuff away, Empire, Blue Cross Blue Shield, you don't have to anymore. You don't have to worry about leaving the house. And guess what? You get to go to your wife sooner instead of being fatigued traveling all around Brooklyn and Manhattan. This is a win-win-win. Win-win-win. Everybody wins. Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield feels good about themselves. This other company, Aspire Health, whatever they're called, Care More or something like that, they feel good about themselves. Jeannie feels good about herself. She has a job not to replace the primary care, but to supplement. Keep my father out of the emergency room, at the age of 82. I'm having a hard time speaking. You hear that? I'm slurring everything. I mean, I don't see how there's a lose in here. I call my father. I leave a message. I said, Dad, this is great. I'm so excited for you. You're going to have health care at the house. I can't believe I'm actually saying these sentences. You're going to have health care at the house. They're going to send a nurse practitioner. And you're going to take your blood pressure and blah, blah, all this other stuff. Make sure you're okay. So this way you can continue to be strong for your wife, who you sit by dedicatedly, whatever the word is. Dedicatedly. I don't know. I'm so tired. This is the greatest thing ever. Who would ever say no to free healthcare? You're doing better than a seal. You're doing better than a black tip reef shark. They're coming to your house. You don't even have to swim around in a tank. And you can stay out of the water as long as you want. You're not going to die. You're doing better than a black tip reef shark. You're doing better than those seals that were in this video. He calls me back later in the day. And by the way, I was having a great day. I was talking to this guy about my podcast thing he's going to help me with. I was talking to this person. I was talking to this contractor. I was like juggling all these plates, spinning plates, whatever. Juggling balls, spinning plates. Everything was going great. And then later in the day, my father calls me back. I said, hey, Dad, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. We go back and forth. Everything's great. Blah, blah, blah. How's the kid? Everything, whatever. All the pleasantries. And I said, hey, so isn't this great? They're going to come to your house. You don't have to leave the house anymore. They're going to come to your house, once every so often and check up on you. Folks, I heard such a resounding no on the phone. And it was the interpreter, because my father has to talk to an interpreter, was going, no, no, no. I don't want anybody here. No, no, no. And I got to tell you, I sunk. My shoulders, my heart, my spirit, everything about me just was sunk. I'm like, Dad, what are you talking about? It's no, no, no. I don't want anybody here at the house. And I got to tell you, I went from sadness, like despair, like being beaten, I was just so downtrodden. Whatever the feeling, can't even express to you how low I felt. Like, what? How am I? Is this? What's going on here? What happened? What happened to? Is anybody? What? And then I went straight from that right to anger. Right to anger. And this is why I didn't want to do the show on Monday. Because I yelled on that phone. That poor interpreter. I forgot, which is the sign of a good interpreter. I forgot that there was an interpreter. I thought I was talking to my father. But I can't, because he still remains deaf. And I started yelling. I said, Dad, and I was yelling. I'm not going to yell in your ear now. I said, don't you do this to me now. Don't do this. This is a great, great offer. You'd be so foolish to reject free health care. No, I don't need it. I'm good. I feel fine. I don't need anybody to check up on me. And I go, no, you don't. You're not fine. You just had a surgery. Like every year in the last 5-10 years, you've had another situation. No, I mean, just really vehemently with the no. And every time he says no, I'm getting crushed. Like a pebble by a mallet. Crush, 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 crush. Big rock, little rock, smaller rock, dust. Crush me to dust. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was like, well, I don't understand. What's the problem? No, the apartment is a mess. I don't want anybody here. So I think it wasn't so much that he didn't want anybody there to check up on him, part of it that is the apartment is a mess. He's living alone, can't seem to maintain it. And why? Because he's at his wife's bedside all day long. Doesn't think he can get away, doesn't believe in the reality. So I make an offer to come down and enable him, which everybody's been doing for 80 some odd years. He's been enabled. Don't feel bad for my father because he's deaf. He could have accomplished so much if he just tried. But he's been mothered. He's been enabled. I'm getting tired. Hold on, let me just take a coffee break. So he's yelling away. The interpreter's yelling at me, and I'm yelling back, and we're yelling. I'm yelling at a deaf man, and I didn't realize that until I don't know how many days later. But I just was yelling at a deaf man, not even at the deaf man who can't see me. I'm yelling at an interpreter, who I think is signing with emotion, because I'm talking with emotion. I wouldn't just yell at somebody and the interpreter just sign the words. That she would apparently supposed to put her whole, thing, like she's supposed to be acting it out. And then eventually my father and I both hung up on each other. I can't believe I yelled at a deaf man, and then I can't believe I hung up on a deaf. I mean, I believe that I could yell at a deaf man in front of his face. But then my sign language turns to crap. My hands stiffen up. I can't. My vocabulary is already challenged, which is a nice way of saying poor. But anyway, it's very hard for me to yell. Be angry and sign. My brain gets all clogged up. I don't even know what the words are. I can't use my hands to communicate with my father, except I like to punch him in his head. So he's just saying no. And I'm just crumbling. I'm shrinking. Why is he doing this to me? What kind of a moron is my father? Really. And for those of you who said, shouldn't say these things about your dad. Listen, I did the whole respect your elders thing for years. I still do it. But only now with people who deserve my respect. Not because you're my elder, but because you're an elder and you deserve my respect. I'll give you my respect. I'm really great about that. But the way my father raised me and treated me and all this other stuff, this is just another in the long line of outbursts and foolish, selfish mistakes. And I said to him, Dad, you're being so stubborn. He goes, yes, I know I'm stubborn. I know, okay, this is not something I need you to agree with me on. I need you to acknowledge it and go, oh, this is stupid. In fact, it's been a week now. It's been since Monday. Where's my apology phone call? I never get the apology phone call. I'm not doing the apologizing. My father and I, once upon a time, didn't talk for a whole year. And you know what? If I don't talk to my father for another year, that's fine. I don't love my father. I do what I do because I'm dutiful. I do what I do because I'm supposed to. But I got to tell you, I'm one step out the door. I've been one step out the door for a long, long time. And I just can't believe he's doing this to me. I can't believe he's doing it to himself. So, what else did I want to tell you? That I feel like the Manchurian child, that I've been brainwashed my whole life. Respect your elders. Don't speak until you're spoken to. Do for us all the time. Always be in service to us. And then they would bribe me with whatever. It's never enough. And then everything in my personal life was wrong. Penmanship was sloppy. My room was a mess. I don't know what I'm doing. These are not encouraging words for a child. I was not encouraged. I was not indulged. Nothing. But, I'm not telling you to feel bad for me. I'm telling you why was I so angry at my father. Because I spent my whole life in service for him. And you can't treat me like a child and an adult at the same time. And he's still doing it, even though I'm 56 years old. I'm a child and I'm an adult. He yelled at me over the phone. No. I don't want anybody here. Are you rejecting free health care? It's so expensive. They're giving it to you for free. I can't believe that. Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's ridiculous. Come to your house. You sit at the kitchen table. I know where he's going to sit. You sit right there. She's going to work your entire body, top to bottom. At least once a month, maybe more, maybe less. I don't know. he's going to die in that apartment. He's going to die in that apartment. I don't even know how he would call 911. Anyway, it's just gut-wrenching to me. Like, how could you be so ignorant? How could you treat your son like that? Anyway, there's more to that story. I'm getting so tired I forgot. But let me see if I can find this particular text. By the way, I called my aunt, his sister. I called my aunt. And she had to talk me down off the ledge because I was sounding bad. I was breathing really, really hard. So I'm going to read this text I sent to my sister. I'm going to do my own bleeping. All right, this is to my sister Monday at 14:56, so 4 minutes before 3 o'clock. This is the text I sent to my sister. I'm going to bleep out all the curse words. And by the way, I haven't spoken to my sister in months and months and months since she hung up on me. Until the other day, she sent me a text. Oh, let me read that text. Oh, I don't have it. Yeah, I have it, but hold on. If I get a chance, I'll read you the stupid text. Wait a minute. Nah, we'll see. So I sent her a text. This is my sister of 56 years. If and when you talk to your father, please try to talk some sense into him. I just hung up on him because I am so bleeping fed up with him. Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield is offering him 100% covered, free of charge nurse practitioner visits to his apartment to do a full medical workup on him to make sure he's okay. It is not meant to replace his primary care physician visits, but to supplement them. I spent a lot of time today with Care More Aspire Health to make sure that they understand he's deaf and he needs an interpreter. How much easier could it possibly be when you have an insurance company as huge as Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield and they are willing to send a nurse practitioner to your home to give you a full medical workup? He doesn't have to leave the house. He doesn't have to take Access-A-Ride. He doesn't have to take a train or a bus or a cab. They come to him, and they're going to probably do it about once a month to make sure he's doing well. They could also prescribe him medication if it's needed. This is all to avoid him going to an emergency room. He is so effing stubborn and so effing stupid. I'm so done with him as my father. I cannot spend all this time and energy worrying about him and helping him get the best medical attention for free, only for him to just immediately scream out the word no, 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 and refuse any assistance. He says he's in good health, but he's not in good health. He's 82. There are millions and millions of people that do not get adequate health care. This is still in a text to my sister. That do not get adequate health care or any health care at all. And yet Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield is offering this to him for free. And it's not really for free because he's already paid for it over the last 60 years of his life. This is an amazing, fantastic return on his investment. This is an opportunity that only the dumbest person in the world would refuse. I'm sorry if any of this offends you or hurt your feelings, or I'm just too intense and you haven't even read this far. But I cannot have my life this way. He's going to drop dead in that apartment because he's not taking care of himself, and I'm not going to be the one to blame. I've done all I can for the two of them to do. Do what you want to take the reins from here. Yeah, I've done all I can for the two of them. Do what you want to take the reins from here. God bless you. Go ahead. And I'm done with Sonia. That's not exactly what I wrote, but whatever. I'm done with Sonia and Harold Canyon. If they want to drop dead in that apartment, good for them. But they're not taking me down with them. So there you go. Where's the recording? There it is. Still recording? Let me see if I can pull. All right, a minute and a half. Let me see if I can read this text to you. This is the first time I'm hearing from my sister in months and months and months since she last hung up on me. By the way, she makes a whole career of hanging up on me and walking away from me, not accepting my apology, not reaching out, like a whole career. Hi, Dave, and my wife's name. I hope you're all well. Wow, really? Oh, wow. Everyone here is good. Smiley emoji. I hate that, but whatever. March 25th is Mom and Dad's 60th wedding anniversary. I reserved a small party room. Yeah, it's not really called a party room. A party room at the facility Mom is residing at. It's called Menorah. I know what it's called. And I hope you can all come on Sunday, blah, 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 between 12 and 3. I will have some food and cake to celebrate. What is that? Clap, clap, or pray, pray? I don't know what that thing is. Some emoji. Looking forward to seeing you all. Well, if you're looking forward to seeing me all, why wouldn't you just call me? Why do you have to send me a text? Call me. Let me know how you feel about me. I'd like to hear about it. But why should you? Because I'm the Manchurian child. I hope I got it all, folks. Thank you for listening to this episode of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance, good rats, Godspeed, and great skills. Take care.